Welcome to our upper secondary English lesson for today. Okay, I don't know how your home-based learning has been. I hope it's been very fruitful. Okay, because my students are telling me that they've been overwhelmed simply because it's just homework after homework, and it's non-stop. I mean, there are only so many live lessons that you have, right? Okay, but in any case, thank you for showing up. Thank you for coming and joining us. Okay, so for today, right, as I'm sure you know, we are actually doing situational writing, but let me just remind you on our class rules that we had gone through last week already, right? One person speaks at a time. Okay, we don't have a problem over here, I think. Okay, and remember to put your microphones on mute mode, all right? Turn off your web cameras, as well as if you need to talk to me, just have a chat, raise your hand, okay, or you can speak to me in the chat as well. I'll be looking at it later. Okay, now, to go into our lesson proper for today, okay, let me just teach you a couple of techniques, okay, when it comes to situational writing. Okay, so what sort of techniques are we looking at? Okay, remember students, before we even do anything, let me just remind you about the criteria that we are looking at when we assess your situational writing essay. Okay, so over here, we know that our situational writing, okay, let me change the font, okay. Our situational writing is actually made up of two different components, right? Okay, we have our task fulfillment as well as we have our language. So most of the time, even though it is not explicitly said, task fulfillment is out of 10 marks, language is out of 20 marks. We have a total of 30 marks for situational writing. Okay, so 10 marks is for task fulfillment, which we will be looking at your awareness with regards to your purpose, audience, and context. Okay, so these three different elements are very important whenever you're writing your essay, simply because you need to make sure that you are aware of these in order to fulfill the criteria, right, of your task fulfillment. Okay, remember we are looking at relevant, well-structured, suitably organized information and ideas that you will present in your essay. Okay, remember to make good use of the printout that we have given you, the visual, so to speak, that we have given you, okay, because then it will include certain important elements that you may want to write in your essay. Okay, marks will be awarded according to how the answer is developed as a whole. Okay, so let me just give you the rubrics of what we're actually looking at for your task fulfillment. Remember, this is for your task fulfillment. Okay, remember we're always aiming for the highest two tiers, right? Okay, so the 9 to 10 marks or 7 to 8, you definitely know your purpose, audience, and your context. You have good organization and structure, right? You give examples that are obviously relevant to what you are saying. Okay, and remember you need to have personal comments, and this is what I call actually engagement. The moment you have engagement, what happens? Your task fulfillment marks goes up, your language also goes up, because it is you understanding the audience, the context, and definitely writing to serve the purpose of the situational writing. Okay, now slightly more different when it comes to 7 to 8 marks, you realize that you actually lack the example. That means you have points covered but not in detail. So sometimes you always see teachers saying, you develop further, or you have squiggly lines that say, not thorough, or very, very brief, or you need to go in depth a bit. So this is actually what we are looking out for. You need to delve into the points more. Okay, now for your language students, we all know that this consists the bulk of the marks when it comes to situational writing, right? 20 marks, a big number actually. We are looking for English that is accurate and appropriate. So of course, this comes with tone, this comes with how you express yourself, if it's a formal letter, how are you presenting it, okay, and whether or not what you're saying makes sense. Right, we are looking for lively vocabulary, and of course this can be only done through reading, exposing yourself to the language, right? And of course you have competent structure, engaging style. This I cannot emphasize enough on how you need to be engaging, because if you don't have engagement, your language marks just go down. Okay, and of course you need to develop your essay coherently. Okay, now students, remember, at the end of the day, what are we looking out for? You see, what makes you different from the next student is your ability to be creative. Now, what do I mean? All of you go, okay, Lacha, you know, I always put this down and just say no differentiation, not creative, not in-depth, not this, not that. Everything I try to do, I cannot score. So usually, actually, situational writing, I would say, students, out of the two, to be honest, right? It's a bit easier to score simply because you have the points given to you. You realize that, you know, we've always made it very targeted for you so that when you answer, you know exactly what you are answering, right? When you have pointers to help you, of course, you know, your answering is meant to be a bit more targeted, right? Okay, and you need to adapt your expression to suit the particular task. So for example, you have a formal email, make sure that whatever you're writing answers the bullet points, number one. Number two, the secondary thing that we always tend to forget is that whenever you're answering, right, okay, create context that makes your writing seem believable. Whenever we say engagement, we don't just mean, oh, you have to talk to the person. No, it doesn't mean that, you know. It means that, for example, okay, you're given, okay, for your assignment this week, right, you're given, you know, your cousin wants to come to Singapore to look for employment, right? So maybe you can give a little bit of context behind it. Maybe she was struggling to find employment, for example, okay? In New Zealand, you can create that sort of context. It's make-believe, but it adds to your engagement marks, okay? And you cannot believe that these engagement points, not every student has it, right? So it helps you differentiate, or rather it helps us, the examiners, differentiate you from the next student, which is what you want, right? You want to be able to score. As much as we want to help our peers, we need to shine, correct? So these are the pointers that can help you shine. Okay, remember students, you have a word limit, right? Usually it's between 250 to 350 words, right? If you write short compositions, you will be penalized. And when I mean short compositions, I mean less than 100 words. So what usually happens is for the task fulfillment or for your language, right? Okay, instead of, for example, language out of 20, if you write less than 100 words, you'll be graded out of 10 simply because you don't fulfill that particular meeting the word limit kind of criteria. Okay, so what I want to emphasize to you, you realize that short script is out of 10 maximum, you can only get 10 regardless of how awesome your language is, you only can get 10 simply because it is short. So as much as possible, students, I know many of you don't have that problem. Your problem, okay, well, majority of my students tend to ramble, right? They go on and on and on, and then, you know, they find that they only have one point, but they go on and on because they don't know how to expand, right? You don't need a very long essay to impress, to be honest. I've always told my students, keep it short, keep it simple. So I always have this acronym, right? KISS. So KISS, what is this, right? Keep it short, simple, right? Always when it comes to your situational writing, when it comes to your composition, make sure that, you know, it stays relevant and it stays what? The storyline is very simple. Then you're going to ask me, Cher, how do I wow the teachers? Wow with your vocabulary. Wow with your language. Okay, and I realized that this is what has actually helped many students to score simply because they are able to wow with their language. Okay, students? Now, let me go on to elaborate more on what we actually look out for in the top bands. Okay, I'm only giving you the top bands basically between 15 to 20 marks because this is what we are all aiming for, right? Okay, remember, we have to be very accurate and coherent with very few slips of language, okay? Now, competent, effective sentence structure that get our points across very effectively, okay? Accurate verbs and tenses, of course, we cannot make mistakes in our subject-verb agreement, for example, right? Very pertinent, very engaging vocab that is on point, very accurately used, okay? Make sure you have your punctuations, very few spelling mistakes, and we have proper structure, we have proper organization. Okay, now always take note that the tone of our situational writing needs to be accurate simply because if it's a formal piece, we have to have a very formal tone, right? We have to make sure that the register, that the audience is able to receive our situational writing essay well, right? When we say well, it means that you have to be able to address the person properly. Correct? Okay. So overall, we're looking at very well written, competent, and composed sort of writing by you, right? Supposedly a very capable practitioner in the language. And I'm sure, to be honest, students, with practice, language is something that you have to improve. I mean, you can only improve well with practice, right? You have to make sure that you write it out. You know, you do the corrections whenever you get your teacher's feedback, because it is only through doing the corrections then you understand where you have actually gone wrong. Okay, now for the tier that's slightly below, you have very fluent, very vivid sentences, right? That are mostly careful and accurate. Okay, remember, the key thing here is to have very good organization. Okay, and of course, you link from one paragraph to the other. And you need to be very ingenious in your essay writing. You got to be very intelligent in what you actually choose to say. Okay, now this is just a sort of revision of the mark rubrics. Okay, if you follow my lessons, okay, you realize that I've always been going through this during every single lesson of my situational writing. Okay, now something for you to take note of for those students who are new. Okay, this is something I always emphasize to my students, what you need to pay attention to. Okay, let me just go through this bit with you. Okay, okay. So who is the person you're actually writing to? The audience. Okay, for today's lesson, we'll be going through purpose, audience, and context. So you're able to more accurately define who or what these different elements of your question are, so to speak, right? Okay, the purpose of which you're writing, whether it is to communicate a message, to ask for permission, to inform, to persuade, what is your purpose? What is the format you're looking at? You know, you've actually studied, or rather you've actually done several formats of situational writing before. It ranges from letter, report, brochure, email, proposal, article, of which we have letter and proposal or proposal report as the most common situational writing task that we give. Okay, and of course, you need to know that for your text, basically, whenever you're writing, most of the time you have it in paragraph form, or rather, you have to write it in paragraph form, simply because this is an essay we're talking about, right? You can't write it in point form. Okay, and of course, remember your language features. Most of the time, we have to use formal language. Okay, impersonal vocabulary is a must. So make sure that you keep practicing so that your range of vocabulary that you use is not so limited. It doesn't make your writing so boring, so to speak. Okay, students? Now, okay. Let me go on to understanding your purpose, context, and audience. Okay, now basically, what is a situational writing piece? We've done this since primary school, right? It was in your PSLE syllabus. It is still now in your O-level syllabus, such that the marks are multiplied by 2, right? Basically, it involves you writing in response to a situation, right? It will be very useful for you throughout your life, especially when it comes to, applying for jobs. You have to write a formal letter. When your boss asks you to write a report, that's where your report writing comes in. When you have to propose an idea for your job, for a project, right, you have to write a proposal. So situational writing, students, you must understand the purpose of us including it in your syllabus is for you to have a feel of what it is like to go out to the real working world, because these are things that you have to write, or you have to basically encounter when you grow up, into an adult, right? So this is to train you for that. Okay, and of course, because you don't have the situation right now as your students, that's why we give you the visual, the text, right? The task, so to speak, because it gives you the context, right? It gives you the perception of what you're supposed to be in should you write the situational writing. Okay, now hopefully with this understanding of why we even have this element as part of your O-level paper, it helps you to understand and better perform for the paper. Okay, students? Now, before you actually respond to any situation, okay, you need to remember the purpose, audience, and context. How does this impact you? Okay, remember, it will affect your ideas and the content you choose to include. So for example, I'm applying for a job. Right, what would I want to include? Basically my background, right? A little bit about my strengths. What I want to write about my weaknesses? No, right? Because I'm applying for a job. Why do I want to put myself in a bad light? Correct or not? Okay, so my strengths, what I can be good at, how I've showed my leadership, for example, right? All these qualities that will help me get the job, right? So this will actually help you in determining what kind of content that you want to include. Okay, now the organization of your writing, basically when you structure your paragraphs very smoothly and they link from one another, right? Okay, as in, it will show that you definitely are understanding. Can I ask, sorry, just to interrupt, can I ask why some of you are requesting for control over my screen? I thought I'm the teacher over here. Okay, you want to have control, you can have control after class. Okay, but not now. Now I want you to focus on this. Okay, now, yeah, basically your organization and structure of your writing is very important so you can actually deliver your situational writing piece well. The words that you choose to use, if it's a formal letter writing, what kind of words should you use? Informal, you can be a bit more relaxed with your language, but still you have to be formal in a way that you don't have all those terms like yo, awesome, please. No, I always see this word. Why? I didn't know that awesome. I mean, I know that awesome is a figure of speech that we use, but please, no awesomes in your essays. Okay, it is not. I hope it's like some students say, "Hi, Auntie Jean, how are you? I hope you're awesome." Duh, she's awesome. She's your aunt, right? Okay, but no, okay, students, please, no awesomes. All right. Now, the tone and register that you want to convey, what kind of message you want to bring across, okay, will actually be affected by the kind of tone that you use. Okay. Now, how do we identify purpose? Something that is very important whenever we are given the situational writing task, okay? Now, the purpose refers to the objective of a situational writing. So there are always two objectives, so to speak. You have the choice to inform or to persuade. So which do you actually pick up, right? When you want to inform, okay, basically you're writing to describe something, okay? For example, you can describe an accident that you have seen. You're informing the police, for example. A report that you're writing, maybe it's also a report to the police, right? Okay, therefore you are able to describe something, or in this case make a report, which is why you're informing maybe the public about something. For example, COVID. Right now, we have a lot of reports that are ongoing, right? People are informing each other about certain things. Make an announcement, all right? Also meant to inform people about something, right? If the Prime Minister Lee Hsien Loong wants to tell us something, he actually informs us through making an announcement. Instructing people, if I want to instruct you to do something, I'm informing you of the instructions. And to notify you, to make you alert about something, right? I'm also informing you. Yeah, I realized that there are lots of pen marks on this. Very nice. There's a glitter background now. Okay, but students, I trust that at 15 or 16, you can draw on your own paper, right? No need to share my whiteboard, right? Not. Okay? Now, may the student who have actually disabled your annotation, but the student who actually did this, please refrain from doing this again in the future. Okay, thank you in advance for your cooperation. Okay, we are all mature adults over here, right? Okay, now, when we want to persuade, when we write to persuade, we may write to firstly convince people. I need to persuade my boss that I need a new laptop. How should I do it? Right? Okay, so what ways should I try to psycho him to get me a new laptop, correct? So I need to convince him to do something, right? Okay, so what are my reasons for it? Then he will not just ask me, okay, so these are your reasons, justify your need for it, for example. You need to prove it to me why you need it, how it will make your quality of work better, for example. Give reason. Okay, then it will come to arguing a point, for example, right? No, he wants me to get this laptop, but no, I want a touchscreen laptop. So what happens, right? If I want a touchscreen laptop, I need to prove that it's going to help me even more for my work, for example. Correct? And then, of course, I will make a recommendation of a sexy laptop that I want, for example. Okay, so these are actually very real situations, okay, that we face, and that's why when we persuade, we need to use certain vocabulary words, certain ideas to help us convey this better. Okay, students, now, for all of you who are here, can I just have a thumbs up for those of you who are able to follow me so far? Okay, very good. Now, we'll go on. Why I got no thumbs up? Students, can you follow me? Can, right? Okay. Now, for example, okay, let's have a look at the different purposes of our task, okay? Now, and how would it actually affect the ideas or content that we choose to include? Okay, so when we look at the situational task, when we identify the purpose, how does it affect what kind of content we want to include? Now, let's look at this over here. Okay, you attended a concert which ended late. Okay, and you do not want your parents to worry, so you send them a message to let them know that you'll be home late. Okay, so what is the purpose over here, students? Any of you want to share your ideas? You can chat in the chat group. Okay, I know many of you are shy. You can just chat in the chat group. Anyone wants to share me what do you think the purpose is? It's either to perform or to inform or to persuade. So what do you think it is? very good. Thank you. It is to inform. Inform what, basically? Okay, what is the content that you want to include? To let your parents know that you will be home late, right? And that the concert has ended late. Okay, so to put things into perspective, right? Over here, let them to inform them and let them know that the message is simply to provide them with specific information over here, right? That we have to let them know this is what's happening, we will be home late. Okay, and we should include the fact that the concert ended late and we will be home late. Okay, now next one. You went to attend a concert. You want to get your parents' permission to stay out a bit later after the concert to attend this once-in-a-lifetime meet the fan session, right? Send them a text to convince them, okay, to let you stay out a bit longer, right? So what do you think the purpose is, students? Is it to persuade or to inform over here? Persuade or inform? Can you pick for me? Is it to persuade or to inform? Anyone? You can say in the chat group. I know you're shy. Very good, okay? To persuade. Good job. Thank you very much, okay? Not to inform, but to persuade, because you have to convince your parents to let you stay out a bit later, right? Okay, so over here, what we're looking at is the message is to persuade them to grant you permission to do it, okay? Right? Okay, so in this case, when, oopsie, oh no, yeah. Okay, so this means that you need to provide reason to justify your request. Okay, and remember, you need to include you need to include the fact that the concert has actually ended, right? Okay, what you want permission to do, why you want to do it. So you need to basically justify your reason of wanting to be back late. Okay, students? Now, we'll go on to the next one. Can you identify the purpose of each task? Okay? You have just read a poster about an event organized by the National Health Society about World Health Day with a focus on diabetes, right? Oh, no. Okay, so when this happens, your cousin has mentioned that she was keen to get screened for diabetes but was not sure about how to go about it. You think that she'll be interested to attend and you want to tell her about it. So what do you think is the purpose, students, for this task? Okay, now, write an email to tell her what activities there are, details of the event, and why you think she should attend. Now, I'm going to put you back to this slide, okay? So what do you think the purpose is, students? Can you tell me? You want to type it up? Is it to inform or to persuade? You want to tell her about it. So is it to inform or to persuade? Anyone in the chat group? Okay, no, very good. Okay, you want to inform her about it. Okay, and how can you tell? What are the keywords? Basically, you think that she'll be interested to attend, right? Okay, so let me just show you. This is what it is, okay? You think your cousin will be interested to attend and you want to tell her about it. Yes, Jiayun, thank you very much. Okay, it is basically to inform her. Okay, now the next one. You have just read a poster about event organized, okay, with the focus on diabetes. So you want to persuade your cousin to get herself screened for diabetes because there is a history of diabetes. Now, this is very serious, okay? When you get a history of diabetes in your family, right? If, for those of you who do biology, you know that there's a stronger chance of you, there's a higher chance of you actually getting it, especially through genetics, right? Okay, and you notice she has put on some weight recently, so it's basically our concern, right? Okay, so what are you supposed to do? You're supposed to convince her, right? What activities there will be at the event, the details, and why you think it's important for her to attend. Okay, so students, can I just have you share with me what you think is the purpose of this? Is it to persuade or to inform? Very good. It is to persuade. Good job. Okay, so it is to persuade because you see that you notice that there's a history of diabetes and she may be at higher risk of actually getting it, right? So over here, we notice that it's to persuade. You're right. Thank you, Natalie. Okay, you want to persuade your cousin to get herself screened for diabetes because of the possibility of, inheriting it. And this kind of thing, not very nice to inherit, but yeah, okay, through diabetes in her immediate family, and you notice that she has also put on weight. All right, now, The next thing that we need to take note of, students, okay, just now we've gone through purpose already. So now we go through audience, okay? Now, audience is basically the target reader who is going to receive our situational writing piece, right? Okay? Now, when you know who your target audience is, it helps you achieve your purpose better and target your messages. So you realize that when you do visual text, the first question they always ask you is, who do you think is the target audience of this visual text, right? Okay, so when you understand who is the people you're hoping to narrow down your message to, it's a lot easier to deliver the message, correct or not? Okay, so for example, okay, so I'm a very ardent Samsung user, okay. So if, for example, the newest S20 just came out, right? So if they know how to target, so the latest technology, blah blah blah, maybe they emphasize on like certain megapixels of a camera, and me being a Samsung user, if I look at it, I'm like, wow, it calls out to me, right? The latest Samsung phone, okay, obviously it's targeted to Samsung users who are actually, number one, were attracted to Samsung, they use Samsung, they swear by Samsung, right? For example. Okay, so these are certain words that we need to look out for whenever we are, reading either the visual text or the, in this case, situational writing piece, simply because we are the target audience. In this case, who is your target audience of the situational writing? Okay, now tailoring your message to a specific audience requires you to know something about them. So you need to know a context, right? You need to be able to engage the reader at a certain level. Okay, that's why I always tell you students that whenever you know the target audience, your engagement should by right increase because you're more familiar with the person per se. Okay, now when assessing the audience of a text, okay, what you need to take note of, right? Their priorities, their needs. Okay, for example, if you're writing, like I mentioned just now, right? I need to present a proposal to my boss for maybe changing my laptop, for example. Okay, what is the most important thing a boss wants? Efficiency, productivity. To know that by you having the equipment, you're able to perform your job better, right? So this will be his his what he needs to make sure that you're able to produce if he gets you a new laptop, correct? Now, what else do we have? The preferences they might have. What are they looking out for? Okay, what do they actually want you to achieve just because you got a new laptop, for example? Age group status, this one really depends on the piece that you're writing and their relationship to you as the writer. Their personality as well. What would appeal to them? If your boss is very target driven, so you sort of tailor your writing to say, with this laptop, I'll be able to produce 10 reports instead of 5 reports a day, for example. So this would make your case a little bit more convincing. Okay, students, let me just remind you that you don't have to actually copy down all the notes, okay, because we will upload the notes. Okay, I repeat again, we will upload the notes by the end of this weekend. So please log into our portal, the same website that you went to for your pre-class task, right? Okay, we will put in a tab that says post-lecture notes or something like that, where you can actually download it. So you don't have to worry about copying it down. Just focus on listening to me. Okay, now, take for instance, okay, let me just put it into a very, very straightforward example. Okay, an engineer who is preparing a presentation on a new type of machine. Okay, if he is able to understand his audience better, he'll be able to customize the message better, right? So if his audience is knowledgeable about machinery related concepts, right, or if they know nothing about it, this will affect how he actually prepares his presentation. Okay, how, you ask me? If it's a knowledgeable audience, okay, he might include more details and technical jargon used in the field. So for example, if he's talking to a group of scientists or a group of engineers, of course he can use all those team words, right? But if he's talking to people like you and me, people without knowledge of his field, obviously he has to make it more understandable in terms of layman English, correct? Right? Okay, so when the language is a bit more easier to understand for people like you and me, he needs to tailor his the words that he used more accurately. So by understanding who his audience is, he can deliver his message more effectively. Okay, students, and don't worry, students, I guarantee you that they will definitely upload it. Okay, I will make sure that they upload it. Okay, yeah, because I believe that you want a notes. I was a student once. I value good notes, and I'm sure that you do too as well. And I think my notes are quite valuable. Flips hair but no hair to flip. Okay, now, so don't worry. Okay, I guarantee you that we will definitely put up a note. Okay, so don't worry. Okay, just to sidetrack, yeah. For example, okay, what can you assume about the audience and how would that impact your writing? Okay, let's have a look. Okay, you need to showcase your science project and present it to the judges who are all science teachers. So who do you think the audience is, students? You want to tell me in the chat group? Who is our audience? Who's our target audience? Anyone want to chat with me? I'm feeling lonely. So lonely. Very good. Thank you all of you to pity on me. Yes, science teachers, you're right. Thank you very much. I'm Aisha, and thank you, Natalie. Okay, you're right, Amos. In a way, it is science teachers, but they are serving as judges, right? But primarily, they are science teachers. Okay, so how does this impact what you're writing? This means that you can assume they have expert knowledge of science concepts. As a science teacher, you have to have expert knowledge, right? How can you be a science teacher and you don't know anything? Quite not, right? And you can include more details and use some technical jargon and some scientific terms, right? More so than you and me, basically, right? Okay, science teachers have that knowledge. Okay, and your science project has been chosen for exhibition. Prepare a description and explanation of your project for the parents and other students who will be viewing the exhibition. Okay, so who do you think is your audience over here, students? Can you just type for me? Very good. Thank you, Darian. Okay, parents and students, right? So very good. Okay, parents and other students. Okay, this means that good job as well, Emma. This means you cannot assume that they have in-depth knowledge, okay, because they are just a normal person. They may not have the kind of knowledge that a science person may have, right? So you need to use basic terms and everyday language. So you realize, students, what is the conclusion after we've gone through these examples? Your audience is very important in helping you deliver your message more accurately, so to speak, right? So whenever you have, let's say for example, you have to write a report writing, if you know that the person is as a student, you would not make your report so chim, so advanced, using all those technical jargon that you will not be able to understand, right? Especially if you were to deliver a speech maybe to your school, you cannot assume that all of them have that scientific knowledge. For example, you have to make sure that you cater to the layman. Correct? So the layman meaning everybody out there who doesn't have any scientific knowledge. So with this more targeted writing, it would help you fulfill your task fulfillment better. Okay, now let's take a look at who is the audience, okay, and then what can you tell about the audience in this. Okay, so these are more realistic kind of situations, right, that we've always been given for our situational writing task. Your cousin is looking forward to a holiday with her friends, wants to do some shopping. Okay, remind her of what you read about paying taxes on things purchased on a trip. Okay, so write an email to tell her what she needs to take note of when she goes through customs, what tax relief she can get, and what is not exempted from duties. Okay, students, so with that, okay, who is the audience? How can you tell? And how does this impact your writing? So who do you think is the audience, students? Can I just have you to, oopsie, sorry. Okay, who is the audience? Yes, very good. Thank you, Natalie. You're right to say that it is your cousin, right? Okay, how can you tell? Basically, of course, it's written over here, your cousin. Okay, and how does this impact your writing? Let me just go through it with you so that you are aware. Okay, I'm not going to make you think so hard. Okay, your cousin. Basically, of course, you can tell from the sentence. Now, if it's a cousin, informal language, you know that it's an informal writing. Address her relationship to you. Maybe you can, if she's younger than you, she may be more willing to listen to you. If she's older, be a bit more respectful, right? Always address the relationship. And of course, preferences about how the advice should be carried out. So for example, if she's younger, the younger generation, you like people to nag at them, right? I know, I don't like my mom to nag me, so sorry, my throat. Okay, so if you don't like, people don't want you to nag at them, keep it short, keep it simple, don't repeat yourself, okay? And of course, be very polite about it, suggest, right, rather than forced. Okay, no forcing, but just suggesting. For example, this could impact the way you actually convey your message. Okay, now another one. Okay, your uncle travels very often, okay, and is about to set off on a short 2 days and 1 night trip. Okay, you know that he likes to buy a lot of gifts for everyone and is not always careful about how much he spends. Okay, so you want to remind him of the tax duty so that he will remember not to spend too much. Okay, so when this happens, okay, what do we need to remind him? What he needs to produce, the receipt or whatever, right? Okay, what tax relief he can get and what is not exempted from duties. So students, once again, who is your audience? Very good, thank you. Okay, and of course, how does this impact your writing? Let's just go through it very quickly. Okay, of course, how we know we can tell is from the statement itself, right? Okay, language will be informal, but you'll be polite. Why? Because he is your uncle. You have to show some respect. Okay, and of course, how you phrase the reminder, right? You can say, don't forget, please don't forget, right? You always add your pleasers. You know, the older generation loves to be fawned over. Oops. Okay, but so they love to, be treated with respect. And whenever you do that, they're more willing to listen to you, simply put, right? Of course, the personality in his age group, right? What kind of advice would he be taking more seriously? Okay, students, now I know you have actually heard me for like the past 35 minutes, so let's just have a quick 3-minute break. Let's go grab a drink, let's go to the washroom. Okay, come back. I'll go through with you context and then a sample essay of our homework that we had actually done before this. Okay, so go take a break, all right? I'll see you in 3 minutes. Now it's 41, I'll see you at 6:44. Okay, see you soon. Okay, hi students. Welcome back. It's 6:44. Okay, can I just have a thumbs up to know that you're back so I can start with class? Either a thumbs up or very good. Thank you, thank you, thank you, all of you who have responded. The rest of you? Okay, if I wait for 2 more students, if I see 2 more thumbs up, then I will start my next part of my lecture, yeah? Okay, thank you. I can start. All right, thank you very much. Okay. I hope the first part has been helpful for you, okay, to help you actually understand how to construct, as in how to pick out your purpose and, of course, your audience, right? Now, over here, I promised you we're going to be dealing with context. Okay, so what does context actually mean? Oh, I love purple, actually. Now, the context refer to the kind of circumstances, right, under which you're writing the text. Okay, so whenever we say something about context, will be something that affects the situation. Okay, affect or condition. Okay, oops, let me write something. Oops, sorry about that. Okay, so okay. So it's a fact or condition that will affect or influence a situation or activity. Basically, how you're feeling about something that could have happened previously or what is to come, for example. Okay, so if you understand that maybe okay, let me use the same example. Me wanting to change my laptop at work, right? So for example, if maybe the company has been doing touch wood, okay, let's say the company has been doing badly, okay, and my boss is feeling a bit more cautious with money. Basically, he doesn't want to spend so much, right? So if I'm able to explain that, okay, I know that times are bad, and I know that we haven't done the best in recent times, but if we were to have this laptop, it would definitely help my efficiency, it could help me produce this, then at least, it will appease my boss a little bit. It will create a situation that he's more empathetic, he's more willing to listen, right? So this is what I mean by context, students. You'll be able to understand the background of situations that are happening. Okay, now understanding the context of the person writing the text and the intended reader will affect what you write about, definitely, as I've just shared with you, right? And how you write it. Your language will be a bit softer when it comes to that. Okay, now, when you're trying to identify the context, so look out for clues about the current or historical relationship or issues between you and the audience, between you and the person you're writing to. Okay, concerns and issues that your audience may have. For example, again, I use the example of me wanting to change my laptop. So for example, my boss may be concerned about the cost. Will changing the laptop justify my work productivity, for example? Will it make sure that, I'm able to deliver my services better, right? Okay, take for instance, okay, this is a real situation that you may face. Okay, so now that you're doing your O levels, right? Okay, you may, after your O levels, so you get your results, and maybe your friend, I mean, both you and a friend get posted to different schools, right? So I just received a letter of acceptance to the school. My parents are really excited. So this is what your friend has actually written to you. For example, one of you, maybe your friends have got posted to maybe Anderson Serangoon Junior College or something like that, for example. Okay, and if you are aware of a friend's situation, you would be more in tune of how you're going to reply. Okay, so if you know that this is what he and his parents want, so for example, this is what he and his parents want, right, you will say something like, congratulations, I'm really happy for you, we should go out and celebrate. A celebration is in order. Okay, but if you know that your friend doesn't want to go to the school, your friend is feeling quite bad about his results, he thinks that he did terribly, even though he got like 5 A1s and 1 B3 or something, weirdo. Okay, okay, and his parents want to attend the school, right? You want want to phrase your, your writing a bit more differently. So what are you going to do? Are you going to try and talk to your parents again? So this would definitely help in terms of how you frame your reply to him, right? Whether or not you understand the situation that he is in. Okay, students? Now, for example, what can you do about the context, or what can you tell from the context, and how does this impact what you write? Okay, so I've been giving you a lot of examples because I want you to be more familiar with what context actually means. Okay, now you've just read a poster about a career fair. You know that your cousin's looking for a job but is unsure about what she wants to do. You hope that this career fair will be useful for her. Okay, so what do you think is the context of this, students? Okay, what is actually the requirement over here? Can we have it in the chat group, please? What is the context over here? So what is the context means what is the background? Okay, let me give you an example. Okay, I suppose many of you are unsure of what I want. Okay, this is what I want. Okay, now your cousin, okay, looking for a job. So basically a person who is job seeking, right? Okay, not sure what she wants to do. So whenever she attends a career fair, the background is that she attends a career fair, right? Because you know that a career fair has got many different organizations taking part in this fair, right? It would be very useful for her to provide a wide range of options. So she at least knows roughly what are the options she has in terms of jobs she can actually do. Okay, now your text, right, whatever you write, right, should indicate your understanding of your cousin's situation. You need to understand that, okay, maybe she's not very driven, or she's very excited about, her job that she wants to do, right? So how does this actually impact your writing? And how do you think the fair will be actually useful for her? Because remember, at the end of the day, you need to express the thought that you think that this is going to be very useful for her. Okay, students, now we have another situation. Okay, you and your classmates are going to make decisions about what to study after you graduate. You know that many of our friends are still undecided. Keyword being undecided. They have not decided what they want to do. You want to convince your teacher to let all of you go to the career fair, as you think that it will be very beneficial. You think that you can actually learn from it. Okay, so just want to take a short, students, just chat in the group, please. Okay, what kind of context do you think this is? Maybe can I just have a couple of words? Any of you want to take a shot at it? No one? Okay, very good. Classmates are making decisions about what to study. Good, very good, Natalie. Thank you, because you know that they are all undecided, right? Okay, good job, good try. So you and your classmates are trying to decide what to study. Very good. Yes, Yaisha, to convince the teacher to go to the fair. Okay, that's true in a way, because you are trying to persuade not only your classmates but your teacher to let all of you go, right? Okay, so you don't have to you have to convince not only your teacher but also your classmates, right? So you and your classmates trying to decide what to study, unsure of, right? Career fair may help all of you to decide what careers you want to pursue, and therefore what kind of decisions you should make. So this is to help in decision making. Okay, students, like I said, don't need to copy this down. We will upload the notes after by the end of the weekend, actually. Okay, so don't need to copy this down. Just focus on listening to me. Okay, now your text should indicate the importance of making decisions for an area of just to interrupt. In annotations is I can actually upload with annotations if you like. My handwriting is a bit messy, but now I'll be more neat. Oh, let's hope that I'm neater. Okay, but I'll try to be more neater. So if you would like the annotations, then I would actually keep. If you prefer the annotations, just let me know. Then I will just upload the one with the annotation. Okay, now, sorry, just to go back, I got a bit distracted. Okay, your text should indicate the importance of making decisions for an area of relevance to a person's preferred career path, right? Basically, they need to like what they're going to do, because it's going to be for life, basically, right? So this is something that we have to focus on, their preferred career path. And how do you think the career fair would be helpful to you and your classmates? Keywords here would be helpful. Okay, students? Now, over here, we have practice time. Okay, I want you to take a look at the two tasks, okay, and decide what is the context and how does it affect how you're going to write it. Okay, so just some pointers, just read through, we're going to go through it so you actually understand how to take this further. Okay, now you recently read a brochure from a competition that involved designing and building a flying machine. Now, your school is embarking on a program to encourage students to take an interest in engineering. All right, now you know that your teachers are keen. Okay, let me change my color. Sorry, because you want notes, right? Okay, I'll make it colorful. You know that your teachers are keen to cultivate creativity as well. So something that we want to tap on will be the teacher's interest to cultivate creativity. This is the most important thing. Yes or no? Not bad, quite neat now. Okay. Oops, hair. Oh, okay, never mind. No hair to flip. Make a recommendation to them to get a team, okay, together to take part in the competition. Okay, so what we need to include, okay, will be what the competition is about, who you think your teacher should, why you think your school should take part, and what the potential benefits and consequences are. All right, students. Now, let's just brainstorm what is the context of this and how does that shape what you might write. Can I just have some of you, throw out in the chat? Okay, students, please take note. I'll only upload the one with the annotations because I can't be having so many tabs. It will just occupy so much of space, and my English is not the only subject, right? So I'll just upload the ones with annotations, okay? So if those of you don't want annotations, just ignore the annotations. They're not very big anyway, okay? Anyone wants to help me with the context of this? Okay, never mind, we'll just go through it. All right, now your school is embarking on a program basically to encourage students to take an interest. You know that there is that interest that needs to be cultivated. Okay, and secondly, your teachers are keen to cultivate creativity as well, right? Basically, at the end of the day, if you are raising your hand, right? Sorry, just to interrupt. If you're raising your hand, just have a private chat with me because then I'll be able to see what you're saying. Okay, I cannot really address you right now because it's a bit hard for me to, and I would like to finish my lesson now. Okay, so just raise it up in the chat with me so I can have that conversation with you. Okay, now, you know that your teachers are keen to cultivate creativity, right? So make a recommendation. So this is the context that you're looking at, right? Because the teachers want to cultivate creativity, okay, this is something that you could tweak your answer to sort of make it beneficial for you to join this competition because it will enhance, it will boost, it will encourage creativity among students. Okay, so how does this actually shape what you might write, right? Use your teacher's interest to persuade them. State the strengths of the students that can help them to excel. So for example, students are very determined. This will definitely help them to, achieve the best project that they set out to do. Maybe the students are very resourceful. They can do very good research to make sure that the science project is up to date. For example, all these benefits students and the strengths of what students have, right? Okay, how would this benefit them and enhance them doing the project? Okay, highlight the benefits of joining the competition, something that we've already talked about, cultivating creativity. Okay, now another practice that we have, okay, before we can go on to the situational writing piece that I've given to you, right? Okay, the teachers ask you to be a member of a team that is taking part in a competition that involves designing and building a flying machine. However, your parents are concerned that your studies will be affected. So far, you have been managing your time well and maintaining your grades. You've been doing very well, right? You hope to convince them that being part of this team will be beneficial to you. So you have to tell your parents, right? Okay, what the competition is about, why you think you should take part, and how you can actually benefit from it. Okay, now students, again, the same thing. Can I just have a couple of ideas of the context of it? You want to just throw out some ideas? Just try it out. No worries if you're scared. Very good to convince parents to take part in it. Excellent. Thank you very much, Xia Yun. Anybody else? Anything that you should take note of? Any caution? What are they worried about? Thank you, Aisha. Anything else that we need to take note of? What do we need to convince them that we are able to better what? Correct. About studies, about time management. Well done. Thank you so much, Aisha. All right, now we go into the answers. Now, this is what has happened, right? Your teacher asked you to be a member of the team. Okay, but your parents are concerned that your studies will be affected naturally, right? If you're taking your O-levels, this is a very crucial year for you. Okay, so far you've been managing your time well and maintaining your grades. Okay, so how does this shape what you might write? Address your parents' concern. Recognize that it is valid. Okay, share with them the benefits of joining this competition, and of course promise them that you'll be able to maintain your grades and manage your time well. When this is the case, what will happen is that what? That's right. Okay, whenever this happens, you can be sure that your parents are reassured that you can manage your studies as well as participate in the project. They will probably allow you to join. Okay, students, can I have any questions so far? If you are following me, can you have a reaction and put a thumbs up so that I know that you are following me and I can move on to the next section? Very good. All thumbs up. All good. Okay, if let's say you have any issues and you don't want to chat with me over here, right? You realize that on the PDF that we had given to you, right, we have my number. You can actually drop me a text or an email, right? Okay, to actually ask me questions. Okay, it's actually in your PDF, so don't worry. Okay, it's all there. Okay, now let me just go through with you the situational writing piece that we had to do for our pre-class. I hope that actually you've looked at it. Okay, not that you have to do it, but actually having a look at it would be great. But let me just go through the context with you, yeah? Okay, so your cousin from New Zealand is trying to decide if she should stay in New Zealand to work or go to Singapore to work, right? She's keen to try living in another country to broaden her horizon. An accountant by training. Now, you know that this is her job, right? Accountant by training. She wants to know what the employment scene is like in Singapore and whether it would be possible for her to find a job. You saw an employment report for Singapore and want to tell her more about what the report indicated. So basically something for you to take note of, right? You were being very sweet to her, right? You saw this, you want to tell her about it. So write and email her to convince her of the possibilities. You know that this is now your purpose. You're supposed to convince, persuade, basically. Okay, now in your email, include the following industries she will be interested in, industries that promise of doing well. Obviously, she wants to be in something. This is a thumbs up. Okay, obviously she wants to be in an industry that is doing well, right? Not just something that is like meh, and then she doesn't have a chance of maybe pursuing her career further. Okay, and of course the industry trends in the industries that she's interested in. As an accountant, what could she be interested in? Banking and finance, right? Maybe she could be possibly interested in maybe commerce or hospitality, for example. So write your email in clear, accurate English and in a persuasive tone to convince your cousin to go to Singapore to work. Okay, now let me just go through, just show you roughly, right? This is what we're looking at, okay, in terms of our what do you call it, the visual, the stimulus, right? Okay, so over here she'll be probably interested in banking and finance, right, as well as commerce and industry related to her accountancy background. Okay, and of course you're looking at this, right? Banking, finance and services. How does the business confidence actually look? Okay, towards this as well. Okay, and of course we're looking at this, right? 100% concern about losing top talent, right? Okay, and of course we have over here, okay, the different or most of the talents, right? Over here, accounting and finance, 76%. Something for us to take note of, especially under the banking and finance sector. So we pick out what is important. Okay, now let me go through with you a suggested essay, okay, students? Now, we start off with, because she's your cousin, right? So we'll be a bit more, let me change my ink color 1 second. Okay, so we can be a bit more engaging, right? Dear Emily, the person that you're writing to, thanks for your email from 2 days ago. Okay, you know, you acknowledge that you've received it, but only now you're replying. I'm delighted to hear that you might want to work in Singapore. You express some sort of emotions over here. Right, that means that we'll be able to spend more time together, obviously, right? Because if you work in Singapore, we will see each other more often. You'll be able to spend more time together. However, you are right to be cautious as uprooting yourself. You know that from New Zealand to Singapore, it's basically an uprooting, right? You have to move to a different country, adapt to different cultures. Your cousin may not be used to it. From one place to another, it's not an easy feat. It's not something easy to do, right? You understand the context, you understand her position. This is how we demonstrate that. Okay, now I came across an employment report for Singapore recently, right? So this is something that you've actually come across. You're telling her about it. I gave a summary on some of the employment trends for the next 6 months in 3 sectors. So this is basically your purpose of writing. Okay, students? Now, one of the sectors reviewed is banking and financial services, an industry that you mentioned you are interested in. You realize that over here, this could be the engagement bit, even though you know that it didn't say that she had told you about it, but this is where we can improve on our engagement since you are an accountant. So basically, because you're an accountant, I sort of inferred and we had that understanding that you are interested in the sector. The forecast is fairly positive with 49% of the companies surveyed saying that they will be expanding their pool of employees. Now, how do we know this, students? Let me just bring your attention over here, right? We had this over here. Okay, you realize that I've actually drawn the marking over here, right? This is what we're looking at, 49% over here. Okay, now, this is probably because, okay, let me change my ink color again. Let me see if I can do a purple. Is it a bit blur? Okay, let me change to a blue, maybe a blue. Okay, okay, they'll be expanding the pool of workers. This is probably because of the confidence levels that they have in both the economy and the business, right? Let's have a look again, students. You realize that over here, we are looking at economy and business over here. Okay, so their confidence level. Okay, sorry. Okay. In this sector, those with accounting and finance background are the most sought after, right? Okay, at 76%. These companies also indicate that they are worried about losing staff and there is a challenge to find skilled people. Over here, it's over here. And I know that there's a slight error in the employment survey. We couldn't really change this because it's prepared, but please take note, losing is L-O-S-I-N-G. Okay, that's why we've actually corrected the spelling over here, right? Losing staff, and that is a challenge to find skilled people. Looks like the outlook is very positive for you. This is when we have the engagement because we want to motivate her. We want to encourage her to take this step forward because it looks very promising. Okay, now this is the visual that we've given. Okay, so in case you want a job in the commerce and industry sector, right, the prospects are not as rosy. About 55% of the companies polled are thinking of hiring to expand the company even though their confidence in the economy or business is lower than that for banking and finance. Now over here we look, right, over here. Okay, so 55% not as high, right, but they're still looking to hire. Okay, the people who they are most looking for are those in counting like you. That's when you have engagement again, right? But the percentage is rather low, only 27%. So the demand is actually not high, right? You can tell that students, it's not very highly sought after. The companies in the sector are also very concerned about their staff leaving as they too are having a hard time looking for skilled people. So this is where you can actually increase your engagement with your cousin simply because, right, you know that she's interested in this, motivate her, encourage her to pursue her career of her choice, right? Okay, now when we want to end off, so you've really told her what is necessary about about her employment choices, about which sectors are doing well, right, which is promising. Okay, so when we conclude, you have always been quite gung-ho. Now gung-ho is a vocabulary word. Okay, if you google dictionary.com, right, it's actually a word that's just you're very courageous, very daredevil, kind of, you're very daring, right, about trying new things. So I really think you should apply for a job here being Singapore. There are a few websites. Okay, so you help her a little bit over here, right? Okay, so there are a few websites that have specialized job listings like efinancialcareers.sg. You will not have to worry about looking for a place to stay. Now all these is all engagement again. Okay, now I have checked with mother and she says you can stay with us, which is great, right? She can save on accommodation costs. Let me know if I can help in any way. Looking forward to hearing your good news. So when you want to sign off an informal email, letter, whatever, right, you can always say love, you can always say cheers, you can always say yours sincerely, right? Okay, when it's informal, it's a little bit more casual. So all these things are possible. And of course, you sign off with your name. Okay, students, so basically this is actually how we can actually structure, not a model piece, but an idea of how we can actually structure our situational writing piece. I have to highlight that it's not a model piece, okay, just that it's some ideas that you may want to include. Students, don't worry, okay, if those of you have to go for dinner now, go ahead. Thank you very much for attending. Okay, I will just end off with a quote, okay, before we can conclude our lesson. The roots of education are bitter, but the fruit is sweet. Basically, a lot of hard work is needed, right? But you know that you will get good results at the end of the day. That's what it means, right? Aristotle actually told us that, and I agree with this completely. Okay, students, so I hope that you've actually managed to find this lesson very useful. Okay, you're able to understand a little bit better about picking out your purpose, your audience, your context. Okay, next week we'll continue with different techniques again. Okay, and we'll go through another different segment of situational writing with, I think I've put up a proposal or report writing for next week. Okay, so join us same time, same place next week. Okay, now go and have your dinner. Stay safe. Okay, I hope you enjoy your home-based learning. Okay, so until the next time I see you, take care, stay safe, and have fun. I'll see you next week. Bye-bye.